I really don't like doing movie reviews like this. Okay, everybody, you know what I do on this channel. I try to steer people in the direction of little movies that maybe they haven't seen or haven't experienced so that they can have a good time and find some diamond in the rough. That's what I'm all about. On very, very, very rare occasion, I will actually say to people, stay away from this motion picture. Do not go into this. You will waste an hour and a half to 2 hours of your life that you will never, ever get back. Well, this is one of those occasions. This motion picture is literally one of those flicks, much like the original Blood Rain or Highlander 2, where I tell people at all costs, don't insult your mind, don't watch it. That's how I feel about Halloween Ends. I just got back from watching this thing, so my mind is still frazzled from just all the laughter that we were doing in the car about this motion picture, just how god-awful screwed up it was, and how we couldn't stop cracking up. Oh. All right, I'm going to tell you right now there's going to be spoilers. I'm going to blurt out a lot of stuff. If you don't want to hear it and you don't want to ruin your experience seeing this movie, although I don't see how that is humanly possible, don't listen any further. That's all I can say. Now, before I dig farther into this and trash this thing like it deserves, I will give it 2 semi-compliments. The screen framing that the director did, Gordon Green, it was all right. It wasn't horrific. The movie didn't look ugly or shitty or anything like that. So I'll give it that. And the actors honestly tried. They didn't do a bad job. It wasn't that. It was the shit that they were handed. It was the ridiculous script, the implausible fucking storyline, and the complete detachment from any other Halloween movie that preceded it, especially 2018 and Halloween Kills. And basically all the other Halloween movies, really. The tone was wrong, the vibe was wrong, the story was wrong. Everything in this motion picture was a complete and utter disaster. I'm going to give you a very brief overtake of this story because I'm not even going to waste my time going through this thing really tight. Anyway, let's go. It's 4 years after the event of Halloween Kills. And all of a sudden, Laurie Strode, I don't know, who just lost her daughter, who lost her son-in-law, who watched little Tommy Wallace get killed, all that kind of shit, it's all in the past. She's moved on. She feels great about herself. The past is the past. She's a feel-good YouTube video now. And she walks around the town smiling and happy and baking pies. She is just Betty Crocker. She's the grandma up the street that everybody loves. Well, I shouldn't say that. Half the town thinks that she teased a mentally deranged man into losing his mind and killing people, so some of the town views her as a pariah because, you know, she drove that poor Michael Myers to it. That innocent lost soul. Anyway, you have this story starting out where there's a babysitter. This dude, kind of odd duck, is what it is. And he's watching this kid, and the kid is a little rambunctious kid, as it goes. And the kid locks this guy in the attic, screwing with him, having fun. Well, the guy freaks out. He wants to get out of the attic, and he kicks the attic door open, which sends the kid over a railing and down like, I don't know, 4 flights of stairs or some shit like that. The kid dies. He becomes a pariah in the town. He's an outcast. He is just set aside from society as a baby killer. But apparently he got off from this because he's still roaming around and they found out he was innocent in the end. Well, he gets picked on by some of the locals. He gets screwed with, where one Laurie Strode sticks up for him. Who'd have thought? Well, one thing leads to another. He meets her granddaughter, and her granddaughter and him hit it off. They just get along swimmingly. Long story short, at one point or another, some of the guys that him and Laurie kind of slashed some tires on literally beat him up and throw him over a bridge, where when he falls over the bridge and he lands near a sewer drain, who finds him? Yes, one Mikey Myers. Does he kill him? No, he just drags him into this luxuriously spaced fucking sewer system that looks like it's big enough to house a family of 22. Is what it is. Don't ask. And it's incredibly well lit, by the way. Let's just fucking get that out of the way, too. And while he's down there, Mikey goes to choke this kid out. Where? He makes some kind of a psychic connection and looks into this kid's eyes and realizes, no, this young man is another version of me. And he decides not to kill him. Well, the kid goes off on a tangent. He leaves through hook and crook, whatever. He's dating fucking Laurie Strode's daughter. They're hanging out together, riding motorcycles. He keeps getting picked on, blah, 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 blah. All of a sudden, he goes back there again, and the homeless man fucks with him, and he murders the homeless man, and that's unleashing the demon inside of him. Ooh, yay, scary, whatever. And he starts to go to Michael Myers for advice. Advice, I say, on how to kill people. And Mikey Myers basically takes him under his wing to show him how to hack people up. And, by the way, Michael Myers in this is just like a broken old thing that lives in a sewer drain. He's getting his ass kicked by everybody. He gets his ass kicked by this dude that's always hitting on Laurie Strode's granddaughter. He gets his ass kicked by the 5'7" new version of Michael Myers. He gets his ass kicked in the end by a 70-year-old woman. Keep in mind, in the last movie that we just watched, he took out a fire department by himself in the beginning. He beat up a street full of fucking grown men at the end of it. But no, no, no. Now he is a weak, tired, beaten Michael Myers who gets the shit smacked out of him by everybody until his young protege holds a man down. And Michael Myers kills him in unbelievable Hulk Hogan fashion. He goes from a crippled old man until he starts shaking. He starts shaking, his posture gets straight up. And all of a sudden, Mikey's back. Oh my fucking God. Anyway, as the movie progresses, Mikey goes on a fucking jaunt with this kid as the guy wipes out the doctor and the nurse that bother his new girlfriend. It is what it is. And then all of a sudden, this kid wants to become even more powerful, so he needs the one last thing. He goes in there and he fist fights Michael to the ground and throws him down and steals his mask. And now the transformation's complete. Now he can be as Michael Myers. And he runs amok, killing some more people, everybody that ever bothered him or pissed him off or did him wrong. Whatever. And then it goes on to the fact that there's a final showdown between him and Laurie Strode. Whatever. And then, of course, he doesn't do that well. And Michael Myers Prime shows up, and he doesn't do that well because God knows he's just a big bitch now that's going to get nailed down to some kitchen fucking furniture and have his throat slit. So he can be let off in a fucking rock and roll, heavy metal, Chris Cornell being carried across the audience trip into a fucking garbage grinder. It is what it is. This movie is shit. It's shit. The tone is all wrong. The tone doesn't fit anywhere, anytime, at all with any Halloween motion picture. The first 45, 50 minutes, I don't even think Michael Myers has anything to do in this. I don't even think he's really there. It's just watching this little stupid love story between her daughter, or granddaughter, pardon me, and this dude. That's all that it is. They're riding motorcycles together. There was actually scenes in it that looked like right out of the movie My Bodyguard, by the way, just throwing it out there. And they're hanging together. She's falling more in love with him. She's telling her grandmother, who's actually spotting there's something wrong with this kid, because, they do the fan service and they line up fucking shot after shot to make you say, hey, he's the new Michael. See him standing behind the bushes? Oh, hey, he's the new Michael. You get it? Right. So, literally, that's how she gets informed that this boy is now the devil. And the father of the baby that this kid accidentally killed looks into his eyes one day and says, that's not the same kid I let babysit my kid. The one I felt sorry for that unintended murder. This kid is now fucking nuts. And there's something wrong. And, the little things in this motion picture, like even when the kid confesses to the fucking girl, I just killed someone. I guess she's just thinking, well, he just means the kid. I still love him. He just actually hacked somebody else up. And he's telling her. She doesn't quite catch on. Why would you? Who gives a shit? Even when this guy's temper starts showing up in weird and random places, he's just like, nope. She's like, no, everything's all right. And then throw in the fact that he's got the world's creepiest mom and the fucking dad who just doesn't have any idea what's going on around him, because no guy in any fucking Halloween movie since 2018 has any clue what the fuck is going on around him in any way, shape, or form. Whether it was Laurie Strode's daughter's husband who plays with yo-yos while everybody's getting massacred, or this fucking father who just sits around and have no fucking idea what is going on. They have no fucking clue what's going on around them. Literally, they have no idea. They just sit around as murders are taking place here, there, and everywhere, and they just kind of like, huh? What's going on? Something bad? Hey, yeah, I'm telling you. So, this motion picture, in every way, shape, or form, has the wrong tone, the wrong vibe, the wrong story. And the fact that you're taking Michael Myers and making him into like a third string character in this motion picture, not a first, not a second. He's like way down in the fucking realm. He doesn't even really make a difference. You could have made this movie without him, actually, and it wouldn't have really changed that much. Honestly, you could have done it. So he's like this bit character in a franchise that's supposed to be, well, I guess about him. And you sit there at the end and watch him get the shit kicked out of him in the kitchen by a 70-year-old grandmother. Uh-huh. A 70-year-old grandmother. He just took out an entire fire department. He just took out an entire town worth of fucking guys surrounding him with baseball bats. But don't worry. Grandma's cooking in the kitchen. And she is going to lay down the beating of her goddamn life and smack the shit out of this guy. Basically crucifying him to a kitchen table where she slices him up. And she slices his throat and slices his wrists. And he dies. This movie is literally offensive to the lore, the history, the tradition of the movie Halloween, the franchise Halloween. Call it whatever you want. The only thing that kind of pains me more too is Carpenter keeps sticking his little fucking fingers into the goddamn pie to get some money off of these things. You know, they give him executive producer credit. They give him some cash for writing the score and shit like that. What happened to the Carpenter that was so disgusted with Halloween 2 that they made him write a story for it, that he got hammered in a fucking hotel and spent a script because he just didn't want to destroy what he had created? What happened to that guy? Where is he? Is he around? I mean, what is the fucking story? John, they are shitting on the legacy of this stuff. I know they're going to do it with or without you. I get it. But for the love of God, do you have to sit there and make it seem like you're supporting this shit? Really? What happened to the rebel, the maverick, the guy that was like, no, leave my fucking movie alone. Please don't make a sequel. And for me to even be involved with one, I got to get loaded and sell out in a hotel room writing a shit script for Halloween 2. What happened to that guy? Because you don't seem to be... Anybody should have raised some red flags on this. Jamie Lee Curtis should have raised some red flags. They can't make the movie without her. She should have sat some people down and said, what the fuck is this? She should have sat some people down and said, this is trash, make it better. John should have done the same thing. If they would have came out and said, if you release this, we're going to publicly go out there and say, this movie sucks, don't waste your time, we can't believe what they did with this. That movie would have halted in its tracks, and they would have fixed the 13 obvious problems with this motion picture. The storyline problems, the script problems, the vibe problems, the mood problems, everything. Those parts, even in the directing, as I said earlier, it kind of looked okay, but there was parts where it went art house. Like she's like, oh, what's going on? Oh. And as her hands fade out, the moon appears, and you're like, what the fuck kind of art house shit is this? This movie is a failure of epic proportions. As somebody who is a huge fan of the originals, probably, if not my favorite motion picture of all times, tied up there with Jaws, Blade Runner, and Escape from New York. So it's right there, but I usually tell people my favorite of all time is Halloween, because it's just a masterpiece in the horror genre. But for somebody who came from that kind of respect for what came before, this thing is a travesty. Nothing makes sense. Nothing. Mike's living in town in a sewer drain. This guy killed like fucking 50 people in the last 24 hours. You're not going to look in the sewers? You're not going to look in the drains? The homeless people know he's there because he still takes people down there to kill on occasion, although he lost his powers because he hasn't been killing, but he's been killing anyway. What the fuck is going on? Folks, I thought they buried the franchise when Busta Rhymes front-kicked Michael Myers out a window in part whatever, okay? You know what I mean? Yes, Halloween ends now. Because, yes, they finally did finish him off. Thank Jesus. I know they'll probably do a reboot in a few years. I get it. But for now, the character is gone. The franchise, thankfully, should be put to bed. We can all look back fondly on the first movie as one of the greatest works of art in the horror genre ever. And we can all forget about the travesty that this movie is and the slew of shitty sequels that it spawned, minus Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, which was great for what it was and what it tried to be. And just go back, pop in some Jamie Lee Curtis, pop in some PJ Souls, pop in some Nick Castle and watch the original. And by the way, the shameless fan service that they try to win some of us old fuckers over with every time they show one of these motion pictures is disgusting. Stop lining up shots. Stop putting Nick Castle in. It's just one random old man who happens to be hanging out at a kid's party. So we can go, oh shit, it's Nick Castle. It's not going to change the fucking fact that your movie sucks. It sucks. I'm sorry. It's horrible. Anyway, folks, be good. Take care. Stay out of trouble. Say hi and be kind to a stranger. Be there and be with your friends. But most of all, never take any bullshit from anybody, especially when they're charging you way overpriced prices to watch a piece of shit flick. Anyway, be good, folks. Take care and see you with a normal video really soon.